Hello, boys and girls. It's everybody's favorite goalkeeper, Pasquale. So I'm here today, chilling in the backyard. Yes. And so I'm here today to talk about my continuing journey with Valhalla and two of our games. So I'm not sure that I wasn't sure that my journey with Valhalla would continue. Yeah. And so they have this chat thread that I mentioned before, sort of poked a little fun at it. So anyway, one of the guys on there, his name is Vu. Shout out to Vu, thanks, because if you didn't do this, I might not have come back. So Vu got on there. So there was a situation where I have a coaching conflict now, and I actually couldn't make games. And I think I previously made a comment that's like I can't make it before 8:30. So I saw this game pop up and it said arrive at 8. And I guess I just thought the game was at 8. And I never, so I was like, I can't make it. I'm not going, it's a long drive for me. I wasn't going to go. I wasn't going to go for half a game. I was like, I'm not driving that far to get there at halftime and play half a game. So I just sort of dismissed it. And there had been a few games I didn't go to, and they'd won a game without me kind of decisively. And I was kind of like, I've disappointed these guys or whatever. It hasn't gone great for me. I think I'll just use my absence for 3 games as a departure point and just like not go back. So I guess Vu had seen my previous comments. I can't make it before 8:30, so he called me out. He's like, "Hey, is Pascal coming to this game?" So I looked at it a little closer and I was like, I opened up the thing, and it's like game at 8:30, arrive at 8, and I was like, well, I can probably get there by about 8:15. So I was like, all right, I'm going to go to this game. So I confirmed. And I went to that game, and that turned out to be a good decision. So that game. So where do I start? I had a real good save in that game. Like a real good save. I had a couple of saves that were like pretty just garden variety. They were decent saves. Garden variety saves, though. Like saves I should have made. And then there was the save in the second half. I think we went up 1-0, and then they equalized it 1-1. And then we had a guy get red carded. No. We went up 1-0, then we had a guy get red carded. Then they equalized it 1-1, and then we scored a shorthanded goal and went up 2-1. And then about in the middle of the second half, we were shorthanded from shortly into the second half. So middle of the second half, there was a guy who broke through the last defender, and it was basically one-on-one with me. He put a move on me. I went down. I ended up on my knees. He took a shot, and I dove over this way off my knees, and I didn't hit it a lot, but I touched it. I slapped it with my hand, and it was enough to push that ball from going about a foot inside the post to a foot outside the post, and saved it. It was a real nice save. There was a little magic in it. So the save itself was real nice, and the other guys knew that save was nice. Now here's the other good thing about that save. So we were playing a team. That's the team they beat decisively one of the games I wasn't there. And that match was actually basically a match to determine last place. Okay. So I think as it breaks down, winning, if we would have tied that game, if they would have scored that goal, it would have tied the game 2-2. Game would have ended in a tie. We would have got 1 point each. As it played out, because of that save, we won the game. We got 3 points and they got none. And that was basically the difference between them or us being in last place. Which also means, if I understand correctly, like this is my first season in this league. But if I understand correctly, that's also the difference between the bottom team getting relegated to a lower division. So that save basically meant that we didn't come in last. We stay in the top division, and they were last season. They didn't get demoted for it, I guess. So they went from last up a notch to second to last. Last season we were winless at last place. This season we won 2 games. I was not at one of those games. And we came in second to last. So they moved up. They didn't get demoted to a different league, and we won that game. So however many mistakes I made one save that was a really nice save, and on top of being a nice save, it actually mattered. Like if I make the same save and we're in a game where we're getting blown out, it's like, okay, I made a great save. But that save actually mattered, which is kind of cool. And so what happened is, like, I've been complaining about chemistry with this team, which is legit. Like, it's, and not the team's fault. It's like a scheduling thing. I've been over that in other videos. So I felt like for the first time, these guys were like, all right, our goalie can make a good play. This dude made it was a nice save, man. It was a nice save. So it's like, okay, our goalie can make a great save. And it gelled. I felt like it gelled me a little bit with them. And I want to say this too. There was a play at the end of the game where the other team scored a goal with like no time left off a corner. It was a corner, came past me, out of my reach to a guy over here. He made a nice trap, stopped the ball. I came out a little bit, he shot it right into the goal. He made the goal. They called him offsides, and that goal didn't count. That would have tied the game. I have no idea whether he was offsides or not, and I know that guy. He's a guy that goes to my Sunday morning pickup game. Saturday morning pickup game, my regular game with a bunch of guys that play on a different team in that league. He plays on a different team. He's actually the guy that originally invited me to that game when he saw me at a varsity game with an old school letter jacket and recognized that I was a multi-title winning alumni. Anyway, so he's the one who scored that goal on me. They took it away from him. I don't like winning off of calls, off of refereeing, and maybe he was offsides. And if he was, fair is fair. It's not a goal. It's, I was real happy about winning. I was real happy about how everything went. I just wanted to put that in there because he did score a goal. I personally don't have any idea if it was or was not offsides. So I felt a little bad winning on an offsides call, in spite of feeling real good about that one save and how it affected things. So anyway, next week the game was at 8:30. I went to that game. We lost 5-0 against a lot of guys from my Saturday. There's a team where my Saturday morning pickup game where like most of those guys are on one of the teams. That's the team we played. They beat us like 8-0 before, I think. They beat us 5-0 this night. At half it was 1-0. They scored early on I had a save where I came out over this way. The guy lobbed it over my head. I actually reached up and I tipped it into the post and it bounced off. So that was a pretty nice save. I made a few nice saves. There were a couple breakaways I stopped. Still a relatively, garden variety saves. Their goal in the first half, I came out on a penalty kick from over this side, punched the ball down, and then the ball was like on the ground. I attacked the ball. My own guy tried to clear it, basically kicked it out of my hands, and it pinballed all around the goal box. Then one of our forwards kicked it, hit our own guy in the back, and it went in the goal. And the other team was just like, okay, we'll take it. That was a weird goal. Came out of half. Early in the second half, there was another goal where it was like my guy and the other guy sort of confronted over here on my right a little bit. The ball popped way up, came towards me, high ball. I forget if it bounced up again or if it was just straight up in the air. And it looked like it was going out to the side of the post. And I was like, all right, I don't know who touched it. I'm just going to let it go out. And it went in. So that one's on me. I just misjudged it. Like it wasn't spinning. It just sort of floated in. It looked like it was going easily out into the side net outside the goal. And I just didn't touch it. I was like, why give him a corner kick? And it just went in. So hang that one on me. That was terrible. Third goal, I don't remember it. Fourth goal, it was just a rocket in the corner. Unstoppable shot. It was a great shot. Good shot, Hero. A guy named Hero. He's a guy on their team who doesn't go to the Saturday morning pickup game. And then the fifth goal was weird. I came out to the side almost duly perpendicular. Came out. The guy kicked it between my legs, actually. It went straight across the entire face of the goal. No one kicks it in. It crosses the goal mouth. And then somebody, I don't know which team, kicks it. It goes back in front of the goal. And then one of our guys just stands there looking at it. And it's like, all you got to do is just tap it. Just tap it out. And he looked at it, didn't do anything, and one of their guys just came up and kicked it in. So that was another weird goal. So, you know, we lost that one 5-0 and maybe should have lost it 1 or 2-0. But anyway, so I didn't leave there feeling great about it. I didn't leave there feeling too bad. And that was technically the end of the season with Valhalla, the fall season. So this is a few weeks ago now, because then after that there was one more week for makeup games from the previous season, which we didn't have. We were completed at that point. And then there was a week off before the new season starts, which our first game on the new season is tonight, which I'm going to. So I reached a point where, like, okay, the season's over. And in my mind, I was kind of like, I think my journey with Valhalla is over. I wasn't sure. I was kind of on the fence. I had reached a point with that team where I was like, I'm just going to roll with it. Let's see how it goes and take it as it comes, kind of thing. So I was leaning towards just sort of checking out, but not committed to that. And anyway, so this thing happened. I had a business meeting with a lady I'd never met before from a work related meeting. First time meeting. And this lady's like, let's meet at this coffee shop. And I was like, let's meet at this other place. And she was persistent. She was like, I like the spot. It's convenient for me. My schedule is tight. Blah, blah, blah. Let's meet there. She pushed for that place. She's like, the coffee's great. It's the greatest coffee in the world. You're going to love the coffee. I don't even drink coffee. I don't drink coffee. I don't like going to coffee shops. I think they're trendy, and I'm like, I'm out of my element in coffee shops. Not my kind of place. So anyway, I'm like, all right, we're going to meet at the coffee shop. So I go to the coffee shop, and I'm walking around looking for this lady that I've never met before. And lo and behold, one of my fullbacks is in the line at the coffee shop. And I'm like, what's up, babe? Gave him a hug. He gave me a hug. Like, so we chit-chatted, and I'm like, you live around here? He doesn't live around there. And so what are the chances of that? It's like, so I end up at this coffee shop to meet this lady for her first time. When I tried to not even have that be the place, and she insisted on it, and then it turns out that this guy is here, and like, it felt like serendipity, and I'm not sure if I'm using that word right or if I'm using the right word, but it was like, hey man, what are the odds of me and this guy, who's my fullback, being here at this place at the same time? A place I've never been to before that I would probably never go to if it weren't for this other lady telling me. Actually, what I should think of is like, that's got a similar meaning with that lady. I better not let that elude me. But anyway, it was like the universe putting us together, right? It's like the universe saying, you're supposed to be on this team, dude. Be on this team, right? I, the universe, am putting you together. There's a reason for you to be here at the same time as this guy, for you guys to connect. It's like, knock, 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 pay attention. And so I think because of that chance meeting, coincidental, whatever, it's like I hear it. It's like when the universe talks to you, man, the universe doesn't do that kind of thing all that often. But it's resounding, man. It's like, how you can't ignore that. How can I ignore that? So I'm not going to. It's like, you know what? I'm going to gel with these guys. I felt like that one save I made, the one game where I was out where it went pretty well. You know, I feel now, I kind of feel like, hey man, I'm in the right place. I'm supposed to be on this team. You know, I needed a team. They needed a goalie. I've got a team. They've got a goalie. I've said it before. I have not been I've not really, I've underperformed for them. I haven't given them a reason to think that I'm like any good, really. But it's like, hey, you know, I haven't played on a big field with stadium lights on the real deal with referees. Now, I haven't done that in like 8 years. And it feels good, man. Like playing out on this turf thing with the lines and the paint, the stadium lights and the referees and like the whole real deal, dude. It feels good. Like I'm out there standing there on this big ass field and it feels good, man. And it's like, hey, man, just stay with it. Shake the rust off. Get used to these guys. If you shake off the rust and we adjust to each other a little bit, it's like you're going to come out here and be gangbusters and get to the point where it's like these dudes on the other teams are going to be like, what the hell's going on? We can't score on this dude. Maybe we'll start ascending in the roster or whatever. Like apparently these dudes used to be solid. And there's ebb and flow to everything. It's like there's a few other pieces of the puzzle that are missing. We have a new guy coming tonight. We need a midfielder and an offensive type guys that are strong. But it's like nothing stays the same all the time. It's gonna change. The tide goes out, the tide comes back in. So I think I'm gonna stick it out with these guys. I'm gonna listen to that. I'm gonna see that sign. I'm going to hear its message, and I'm going to listen to the universe and stay with Valhalla. The journey continues with Valhalla. Yeah. Okay, boys and girls. Bye.